Hi, it's Terri Gaines. I'm going to give you some tips on using a Stamparatus template that I created. I have two templates, one for dies and one for punches, and I have two downloads for both of those on my blog. My blog is createwithterrigaines.com. So we'll talk about the first template is for dies, and you can print this on 8.5 by 11 cardstock. You do not want to print this on typing paper or writing paper. It's not thick enough. And then you can cut it in half, or you can actually cut it down to be 5 by 7. If it's 5 by 7, then it will fit into your stamp case. Once you create a template for a die, you do not need to create another one, so you can just store it right in your stamp case with your stamps. So let's talk about the Stamparatus. The Stamparatus is an amazing tool. It comes with a platform, two plates that are hinged. I'm going to use one of them for the project. It has two magnets. I put painter's tape on mine to have a nice handle for it. My second magnet is in the back. It is important to keep the two magnets apart from each other. If you get them close, they will collide. In most cases, they will break. We do sell additional magnets, but you don't want to have to do that. You also get a black mat, a foam mat. This is for photopolymer. You do not need to use it when you're using the cling, the red rubber. And you have a grid on the bottom. It's got a nice surface that's clean. You can clean that. But I actually like to purchase, purchase the small grid paper, which is perfect for the Stamparatus. It's got a nice corner that fits right in there, and then you've got your scale on the side. So to use the template, we will print. Step one is to print on cardstock and cut to size. We've talked about that. Step two is to cut out the template. And I've actually done that already for this new stamp set that's in the 2019 holiday catalog. I have cut out the cardinal die over on the side. And it says for step two, in the suggested area. Well, my suggested area is in this vicinity. And the reason I say that is because this platform is hinged, and the further you get away from the hinge to stamp, the better your image will be and the less pressure you need to apply. The goal is to apply very little pressure when you're stamping to get the best results. So we have this already cut out in that vicinity. So step three is to place a sheet of grid paper underneath. That's already done. And then to place the corner of the template in the corner of the Stamparatus, the corner that has where the hinges meet, and then to place the magnet down. And I have an indication here. The magnet is here for two reasons. One is to hold the template in place. The second reason is it keeps the platform from going all the way down. You want to keep it up a little bit. So that works out well. Step four is to take an uninked stamp. And we're going to take the cardinal and place it in that opening. And it's harder to tell with the red rubber, the cling. And you kind of take a peek on all sides if you've got that in the right position. But what we're going to do once you're done with that, we've got that in place, bring the plate over. It's going to pick up the stamp. Now we're going to ink the stamp. I'm going to just slip this, I'll keep the instructions out here and place this underneath. It helps keep level. When you're stamping, you just want to tap, tap, tap. I'm hardly putting any pressure down on this. The reason is you just want ink on the surface. You don't want to push hard to get it into the crevices. I'm going to bring this down. This is our test. This is our test to see how our placement is. And I'm thinking we're pretty darn good there. So if we weren't, clean off the stamp. The best way to clean it off is with the chamois. The chamois is another must-have tool. You dampen it, and then you can just bring it right here and clean it up. But we don't need to do that because we're going to say we're good. Then what we need to do is take some cutout dies. And what's nice about this is it's quicker to cut these all out blank than it is to stamp them, line up the die and run it through your die cutting machine. Because once you have your Stamparatus set up, once you have all your dies cut out, you can place that die right in that opening. It is important to make sure that your template is still in the corner and your magnet is securing it into place. We need to ink the stamp up again. I'm going to ink that up. Stamp, just light pressure is needed. And here we have our cardinal already stamped, and we have a nice image around the side. So a great way to utilize the template. And as I mentioned, once you have that template created, you do not have to create another one for this cardinal. What I'm going to do is just clean everything off here with the chamois and peel off my cling stamp. I'm going to place it back into my case, and like most of you, I wouldn't have stamped just one card. I would have stamped several of these, especially if you're using them for Christmas card. Now that I have that created, I can keep it in my stamp set, and it's always there for when I want to use it again. The other type of, there's a couple things I need to mention. You'll notice there's two templates for the dies, and one of them is actually a template that's a repeat here. It does not have the half with the instruction. This is in case you want to print this and cut these and use these for all your different scenarios that you want to use dies with the Stamparatus. So you got two different downloads you can have there. The second one I want to show you type is with the punches. Punches, I have a different template because there's different instructions for that. With the punches, what you want to do is do the technique a little bit different. So I have a second template for the punches. It has some written instructions along with its very own template, and one with instructions and one with the basic tips on using it. Again, you would cut this down to 5 by 7 and it will fit into your stamp set. The stamp set I'm going to use to show you the punch is a new one that's in the 2019 holiday catalog. Snowman Season. It's adorable snowman. And what's super fun about this, it coordinates and bundles up and has a beautiful suite with a punch that will punch out the hat, the arms, the body, and also a little carrot for the nose too. So how would we use the template for a punch? It's slightly different. First of all, the stamp set is photopolymer, so I need to bring the full mat back in. And it's okay that I use this same one. I'm just going to turn it over and place that down. So once I've got my template cut to size, I'm going to punch. I probably brought the wrong one out here for instructions, just to make sure I'm telling you the same thing I wrote down. So what I'm going to do is punch in that same area. And a couple things I want to note for this. You don't want to push your punch in all the way, and you want to bring it down a little bit, but you don't want to go so close to the edge that you don't have cardstock there. And we're going to go right there and punch those out. That's going to create our opening here. We're going to place this down on the paper or on the Stamparatus, the corner, put the magnet down, and now we have our opening here. What we need to do is do our test to make sure that we get the stamps aligned correctly. And, oops, I had one in there I could have used. What we have is photopolymer. A couple of different things about boy, that's a tongue twister, I can't get that out. Photopolymer is, the beauty of them is you can see through them, so it's going to be easier to align than the cling or the red rubber, but also they're really sticky. So I'll give you a tip on what I've done is I take the branch and I'll place it down, and like I said, my fingers, they're sticky, my fingers hold on to it. So I take my embossing buddy, which has got a little bit of tackiness. This is what you use to put over your cardstock to eliminate static cling when you're heat embossing, and I applied some on my take your pick tool, and I'm going to just use that to scoot it around. Oops, got it stuck underneath. It usually works really well. I'm not touching the top. I'm just using the sides. And with the photopolymer, it almost feels like it falls into place when it's in the right spot. I want to put both branches down, and so I'll get it in the vicinity here. See if I can let go of it. And then I lost my tackiness on my tool, so I'm going to just pick up some more powder here, and then I can scoot that. Oh goodness. Before the camera goes on, it all goes well, right? So I don't get a really good view, but let's say that's good. Once you have that in place, now I could go ahead and put the snowman down, I could put the hat down, but for the little sample I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the branches for the arms. So bring this down, pick up my stamps. Now what I'm going to do is just stamp on this grid paper to see how well my alignment is. So I'm going to use basic gray ink, and again, just tap, tap to get a good coverage. You don't want to push hard into that. And then you apply light pressure, and I think it worked out really well. We're going to say that's good to go. So once it's good to go, you're going to take your paper this time and just slide it underneath. I'm going to do that instead of punching all these pieces and placing them in that opening. So I'm not going to stamp the hat or the carrot, so I don't have to worry about that, or just move the magnet. But it's important that you see all of your open images via your cardstock. And also I have just a small edge here. Remember, I told you not to put the punch in all the way, because if you put the punch in all the way, then your cardstock would have to be flush to that template to be able to punch it out. So we're just leaving a little bit of gap here so we can grab it. Make sure your template's in the corner, your magnet's secure. Ink up your branches, your image. Just tap, tap, tap. And I got some ink on the surface of the plate, but I'm not going to worry about that because the magnet being higher, it won't cause that to go down. Put a little bit of pressure, and there I have the branches cut or punched. Okay, they're stamped. They're not cut, they're not punched, they're stamped. Now I can take the snowman punch, and they're set up that in the right spot, and I can reach them. If you have your paper too long on the bottom, then it's hard to reach. You'll have to trim that off. But just keep those couple tips in mind when you do this, and it will work out well. I have a snowman here, a couple branches for arms, and then a hat. And that's exactly what I want here. So what I'm going to do is just bring this out of the picture and show you what I'm going to do here. So first of all, I got to show you the beautiful paper that coordinates with this product. If you love snowmen, you're going to love this paper. It is 12 by 12. It's a specialty paper. 4 of the 6 designs have a glitter design on them. Isn't that gorgeous? One of the 12 by 12s has glitter snowmen. One of those snowman designs, the one without a hat, fits in with the punch. And another piece of paper has all these hats. The black hat with the red stripe is also something you can punch out. You can see here I've trimmed out a couple already. And you turn this paper over in absolutely beautiful colors. Hard to decide which side to cover up because they're all beautiful. So the sheet that has the snowman on it, what I would do is start out on the top, and I believe these are 2, I'll just quickly measure, 2 3/4 strips that I cut. That allows me to get all the snowmen. The one thing I don't want to do is take the punch and just go in like this and punch out the snowman. In this case, it's not punching out anything other than the background, but in some cases how they're placed, it's going to cut out another snowman. You can utilize all of these for another project. Use the oval, layering oval dies to cut them out, fussy cut them out, or just do the straight cutting on those. So what I'm going to do is, oh goodness, I don't have one already cut. So what we're going to do is just cut this like so, That's going to allow me to use the rest of this paper for another project. Now what I'm going to do is take this snowman, and it's not going to reach into the punch. I already know that. And I'm going to put a Post-it note in the back. That will allow it to reach into the punch, and then I can punch out that snowman. Isn't that adorable? Well, we just stamped some branches. I stamped some branches and cut those out for it. Also want a hat. I mentioned to you that the hat is also on that paper. So trim that, place a Post-it note in the back. That becomes an extension for you. And you got to put the Post-it note on in that direction. Place that in the punch, and we'll punch that out. So here we have all the pieces we need. A tip you want to do on this is be sure you get all that Post-it note off, because it could come off on your project once it's assembled. So here are the pieces, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to assemble these. I'm going to take the branches, put ink side down. Oops, that allows me to place it on the back and have my branches like so. And we'll do the other one also. Mini glue dots work good for this. This tool works good to pick it up. And we'll place it down like so. Then what I'm going to do to help secure those little arms in place, this punch that I punched that does not have any stamped image, I'm going to apply some adhesive on that, and that becomes the back. So those little arms don't go anywhere. They're all secure. Now you can use that, a little snowman with some branches. Let's say you want to add the hat. What I'll do is I'll take mini glue dots, attach the hat, and what's nice about this technique is, oops, we need a mini glue dot closer to the rim or brim so it adheres to the snowman. Place that down, and then because of the size of this, I'm just going to use a couple mini glue dots instead of putting the snail adhesive on there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on the back, and there we have the little snowman. Great to embellish lots of different projects for the holidays. If you found me via YouTube, look in the comments section for a direct link to my blog post where you'll find the templates you can download for the Stamparatus. You'll find the supply list for the different tools I used, and a direct link to my Stampin' Up! Store. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed creating with me. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, the red button down in the corner. Thank you. Bye-bye.